Hi, and welcome to this tutorial about AutoGaitA group. In this video, I will use the example data that we provide in the repository of the same group of mice walking over 3 differently wide beams, 5mm, 12mm, and 25mm. And the group toolbox is pretty straightforward. So what you just need to do is, of course, as I just did previously, choose the number of groups you want to compare. Up to 6 are possible right now. Then enter the name of each group and the path to their first level results. So this is the results folder that is generated by AutoGaitA's first level toolboxes. And this folder, it doesn't have to be called results. You can rename it if you want, but what's important is that you have each ID, all of the ID subfolders, as well as the config JSON file in them. Also, this name doesn't have to match the path here. It can be like whatever you want. Next, you choose where to save your group results to. So let me not use desktop because that will be messy, but group results. Next, what you can do is to, instead of running the analysis again, load a previous run's results and then compute particularly your statistics and your PCA from there. So this is useful if you ran the analysis and then get your group results folder, but then see that, I don't know, you want to configure your PCA so that it has some forelimb features and not the hind limb, or you want to look at some other features to test statistically, then you can speed up things a lot by just entering the path of your previous run here, and then AutoGaitA will load the results there. So it will particularly load the average, grand average, and grand standard deviation Excel files. And if you use this, you have to make sure that the names here are matching as well. The paths on the right are not used if you use this approach, but you have to make sure that the names match what is present in your group results folder. Next, you can choose how to do stats, so either with the cluster extend permutation test, which is recommended if you don't think that parametric assumptions are met. You can choose to do the ANOVA as well as Takis approach here, either having a within subjects or a between subjects approach. So within subjects is of course something like we have here, where we have the same group of mouse performing the task. If you have, for example, a setup of a human patient population and healthy individuals, then of course that would be a between subjects approach. You can do interactions and run Takis. So if you should have 6 groups and 2 factors, one within, one between, as we have in our paper with age and beam width, for example, then you can do 6 groups. In that case, AutoGaitA will say, hey, this is not a valid ANOVA setup because it doesn't support interaction ANOVA setup yet. However, Takis will run nevertheless. So you can look at your pairwise p-values. Next, we look at the advanced configuration. First, number of permutations for the cluster extend test. We recommend at least 10,000. Then the alpha level of significance. The number of principal components for the PCA can be anything as long as it's smaller than the number of features, of course, that you choose later. And if you choose a decimal between 0 and 1, we will use as many principal components until this proportion of variance explained is met. So if you put 0.8 here, then AutoGaitA will add principal components until 80% of your data's variance is explained, and that's it. In the next box here, you can choose how to plot custom scatter plots. So by default, AutoGaitA plots scatter plots for principal components 1, 2, as well as 1, 2, 3. If you have let's say, I don't know, 10 principal components, and you then, after it runs, see that in the PCA feature summary Excel that we provide, you see that, oh, particularly the fifth principal component has the features that I'm interested in. You can do things such as 5, 6, 7 to get a 3D scatter plot of those, and then if you want, you can also just do 2, 3 to get 2D there, and so on. So here it's important that you use a comma for separating PCs in the same plot, and a semicolon if you want to go to the configuration of the next plot. Next, again, PCA. Here you can restrict the input with respect to cycle percentage. So let's say you're just interested in the first half of the cycle, you just go 0 to 50. If you say, for whatever reason, I don't know, I'm interested in the first 50% and then the last 10%, you just go comma 90 to 100, and that's it. So comma separates, of course, ranges. These ranges can be just numbers as well, so this could be like 55 comma, and then you can just build the kind of PCA input you're interested in. If you would like to get a rotating 3D video of your scatter plot, you need to install FFmpeg. We provide installation guidelines in our documentation, so check those out. But this is required if you want the video. Next, you can choose the figures colors. As in our other tools, you can choose to plot standard error instead of standard deviations for your error bars. Plot legends outside of figure panels. Don't shot the plots in the figure GUI, but just save to files. And if your first level was AutoGaitA Universal 3D, then of course you have step cycles or cycles for the left and right body side or leg, and here you can choose which side to analyze. Next is the define features window, where you just define your features. On the left, what you want to test with our statistical approach, and on the right, what you want to include in your PCA. Then you just hit run, and you're done.